the moment I realized I was alone. Hi everyone, I'm posting this here because I literally have no one left to tell. My phone has 412 contacts in it, and I swear not one of them would pick up if I called at 3 a.m. Crying. I've been carrying this around for 8 months now, and it's eating me alive. I keep replaying that one single second in my head like a broken GIF, and every time it hurts exactly the same. I need to get it out before it finishes killing me. I'm 31. I was married to Ellie for 9 years, together for 12. We met at uni in a tiny Welsh town none of you have heard of. She was studying marine biology. I was doing English lit because I thought it sounded romantic. First time I saw her, she was knee deep in rock pools, wearing an oversized Cardiff uni hoodie, swearing at a crab that had nicked her pen. I offered her mine. She looked up, rain in her eyelashes, and said, "If this pen dies for science, you're buying me coffee as compensation." That was it. I was gone. We had this quiet, beautiful life. Nothing flashy. We rented the same two-bed terrace in Canton for 7 years because neither of us could be bothered with the stress of buying. Our kitchen had a permanently wonky table that we never fixed because we liked putting coasters under one leg and pretending we were on a boat. Ellie worked at the National Museum's Marine Department. I taught year nines how to hate Shakespeare a little less. We had a rescue staffy called Toast because when we got him, he was the color of slightly burnt bread. Friday nights were always takeaway curry and a David Attenborough box set. She'd fall asleep halfway through with her head on my chest, and I'd carry her to bed like an idiot who'd won the lottery. We tried for kids for 4 years. 3 rounds of IVF that took every penny we had and most of the hope, too. Ellie developed OHSS after the second retrieval and spent a week in hospital looking like she was 6 months pregnant with pain instead of a baby. I sat by her bed reading her The New Sally Rooney out loud because she said my awful attempt at an Irish accent made her laugh. When they told us the third transfer hadn't taken, we just held each other in the clinic car park and didn't speak for an hour. On the drive home, she said, very calmly, "Maybe we're enough. Just us and Toast." I said, "Yeah." I lied. I think she did too. After that, we kind of drifted into this gentle autopilot. We still loved each other, God we did, but the air in the house got thick with all the things we weren't saying. She threw herself into work. I started marking papers in the pub so I didn't have to sit in silence at the wonky table. Toast got old and creaky, and we spoiled him rotten because he was the only thing we hadn't accidentally broken. Then in January this year, Ellie got diagnosed with a brain tumor. Oligodendroglioma, grade 3. The kind that's treatable but not curable. She told me in the IKEA car park because we'd gone to buy new pillows and she didn't want to do it at home where Toast would worry. She said it like she was reading a shopping list. It's in the left frontal lobe. They want to operate next month. Prognosis is 2 to 8 years, depending on how much they can get out. I remember dropping the trolley and a bag of tea lights rolled under a Volvo. I couldn't breathe. She rubbed my back and said, hey, we'll be okay. We've got this." Like it was just another round of IVF. The operation went well, they said. Got 95% of it. She came home with a crescent scar hidden under her hairline and a wicked sense of humor about being part cyborg. For 3 months, it almost felt like we'd been given a reprieve. She had chemo and radiotherapy, lost her hair, wore these bright headscarves that made her look like a pirate queen. I shaved my head in solidarity and looked like a boiled egg. We laughed more than we had in years. Toast learned to bring her the TV remote when she was too tired to stand up. We made plans again, talked about retiring to Pembrokeshire one day, getting a little boat, teaching Toast to swim. He hated water, but we thought it was funny to imagine. In September, the scans showed it was back. Faster, angrier. They said maybe a year if we were lucky. Ellie decided no more treatment. I've done the alien invasion thing, she told the oncologist. I want to go home and eat curry and watch David Attenborough until I can't anymore. So that's what we did. She got bad quickly. By October, she needed a wheelchair. By November, she was in bed most of the time. Hospice came twice a week. I took unpaid leave and basically moved into our bedroom with her. We turned it into this weird little nest. Fairy lights, her laptop on a breakfast tray, so she could still work on the seabird reports when she had good days. Toast slept curled against her legs every single night. The night it happened was a Tuesday. Nothing special. We'd watched Planet Earth 3, the one about deserts. She'd fallen asleep halfway through like always. I carried her teeth to the bathroom to rinse them. She hated sleeping with them, and once the enamel started hurting. Tucked her in, kissed her forehead. She stirred and smiled without opening her eyes and said, "Love you, idiot." I whispered it back and went to sleep on the camp bed next to her because I was terrified of rolling over and hurting her in the night. I turned the baby monitor on like we'd been doing for weeks. Yes, an actual baby monitor. The irony wasn't lost on either of us. I woke up at a.m. needing a pee. The monitor was silent, which was normal. She slept deeply with the morphine. I padded to the bathroom, came back, checked on her out of habit. She was on her side, facing away from me, duvet pulled up to her chin like always. Toast was still pressed against her legs. I whispered Ellie, and she didn't answer. I touched her shoulder. Cold. Not cool, cold. Like marble. I don't remember screaming. I remember this high animal noise that didn't sound like me. I remember shaking her and saying, "Please, please, please," like a broken record. I remember Toast starting to whine and trying to lick her face. I remember calling 999 and the operator asking if I wanted to start CPR, and me trying for 30 seconds before I realized how fragile her ribs had become from the steroids. I stopped because I was scared of hurting her more than I already had by letting her die. They came quickly, confirmed it, said she'd probably gone around 3, said it was peaceful. I sat on the floor of our bedroom with Toast in my lap and stared at the fairy lights until the sun came up. My mum arrived at some point, I think. Everything after that is a blur of paperwork and phone calls I don't remember making. The funeral was small. 20 people maybe. Her parents didn't speak to me. They never really forgave me for not trying harder with the IVF. And now this felt like the final failure. I read a Mary Oliver poem because Ellie loved her. I kept thinking she would have hated how puffy everyone's eyes were. Afterwards, I came home to our house, and it was exactly the same and completely different. Her headscarves still on the banister, her laptop still open on the Seabird spreadsheet. Toast kept going to the bedroom door and crying. I slept on the sofa for a month because I couldn't bear the camp bed. Everyone was kind for exactly 3 weeks. Casseroles, texts, people saying, "Let me know if you need anything." Then the world moved on. My sister went back to Australia. Friends stopped inviting me places because grief is awkward when you're. Work gave me 6 weeks compassionate leave and then started emailing about returning. I went back because the silence at home was worse, and that's when I realized I was properly, truly alone. It wasn't one big moment, it was 1,000 tiny ones. The first time I cooked for one and realized I'd automatically bought 2 onions. The first time Toast brought me Ellie's slipper and I had to explain she wasn't coming back. The first time I reached for my phone to send her a meme and remembered there was no one on the other end. The first night I came home from parents' evening and there was no one to tell about the kid who wrote, "Romeo is a bit of a wet lettuce," in an essay. The moment I found her last voice note on my phone, just her saying, "Don't forget to buy milk, loser," in that fond, pissed-off tone she saved for me, and I played it 47 times until the battery died. I realized our entire friend group had been her friend group first. I was the plus one who'd somehow become permanent. Without her, I was just the sad widower they didn't know how to talk to. Even Toast started spending more time at my mum's because I was too quiet for him. I still live in our house. I can't leave. Some nights I put Planet Earth on and lie on her side of the bed just to smell the pillow that still, somehow, has a trace of her. I talk to her out loud because it's better than the silence. I say, sorry a lot. Sorry I didn't push for more treatment. Sorry I complained about picking up her meds. Sorry I ever let her feel, even for a second, that she wasn't enough. People keep telling me it'll get better, that I'll love again, that 31 is young. I smile and nod because it's easier. The truth is, I don't want it to get better. I want to go back to the Tuesday night when she was still breathing next to me, and I was grumpy about marking, and Toast was snoring, and the fairy lights were on, and everything was ordinary and perfect. I don't know how to be a person without her. I'm still waiting for someone to tell me the rules. So, yeah, that was the moment I realized I was alone. Not when she died. Not even at the funeral. It was the slow, horrible drip of days that followed, when the world expected me to keep existing and I couldn't remember why I should. If you've read this far, thank you. I don't need advice. I just needed someone, anyone, to know her name was Ellie, and she was brilliant, and she deserved more time, and I loved her more than I knew how to say when she was here. I miss her in a way that has its own heartbeat. Thanks for listening. Throw it away, because I'm not ready for people I know to see this. It's hours later, and I'm still here staring at the screen. So, yeah, there's more. I didn't think I'd come back to this post, but I can't sleep, and the house is doing that thing, where it creaks like it's trying to forget she's gone. Sorry if this is just rambling. I'll probably delete it tomorrow. Some of you messaged me the kindest things I've ever read. I cried in the Tesco car park reading them because I forgot strangers could be gentle. Thank you. I can't reply to everyone. I tried and then panicked, but I saw them. I really saw them. I didn't tell the full truth in the first post. There's one part I left out, because saying it out loud, even on an anonymous account, feels like betraying her. The morning after she died, while I was sitting on the bedroom floor with Toast shaking in my arms, I found the letter. It was in the top drawer of her bedside table, under the half-finished packets of paracetamol and the lip balm she used to steal from me. One sheet of paper, folded in half, my name on the front in her handwriting that always slanted too much to the right. I couldn't open it for 3 days. When I finally did, it was worse and better than anything I could have imagined. She'd written it 2 weeks earlier, on one of her last good days. She said she knew I'd be angry at myself for the rest of my life if I didn't hear this from her, so she was telling me while she still could. She said thank you for the 12 best years of her life. She said I gave her a home and a person, and that was more than enough. She said the kids thing wasn't my fault, or hers, or anyone's. That some stories just don't get the ending we ordered. She said she wasn't scared, just sad to leave me and Toast. And then she wrote the line that broke me in a way dying alone didn't. I need you to promise me you'll let yourself be happy again one day. Not soon. Not because you forget me, but because the world is still big and you're still in it, and I refuse to be the thing that keeps you small. If you don't, I'll haunt you, and I'll be really annoying about it. I'll hide your keys and change the Netflix profile to only true crime. She ended it with P.S. The wonky table is structural. Stop putting coasters under it, you absolute muppet. I sleep with that letter under my pillow now. Some nights I take it out and read it by torchlight because the overhead light feels too loud. I still can't say the promise out loud. I tried once and threw up. Christmas is in 3 weeks, and I keep thinking about last year. We couldn't afford much, so we wrapped silly things for each other. A pack of rich tea biscuits with a bow on it, a single sock, the remote control. She laughed so hard she cried, and then we made love on the living room rug, even though her back hurt and Toast kept trying to join in. I keep waiting for this year to feel less sharp, but it's getting worse. The advent calendar we bought together is still in the cupboard. 24 tiny doors, and no one to open them with me. I sold our bed. Couldn't stand the empty side. Bought a single and pushed it against the wall so I can pretend I'm choosing to sleep alone. Toast refuses to get on it. He sleeps on her pillow pile on the floor instead. I talk to her all the time now. Out loud, in the shower, in the car. At the traffic lights, I'll say, "You'd love this song." And then remember she can't. I apologize to cashiers when I space out. They must think I'm unhinged. I tried therapy. The woman was nice, but she kept saying it's okay to feel. And I wanted to scream that I don't want to feel, I want my wife back. I didn't go back. Some nights I put her coat on and walk Toast at 2 a.m. because it still smells like her if I bury my face in the collar. People probably think I'm a weirdo. I don't care. I keep thinking there'll be a morning where I wake up and it hurts a little less, but 8 months in, and it's still a fresh wound every single day. Like my body resets overnight, just to rip itself open again. I don't know how to end this update. I guess I just wanted you to know it doesn't get easier. Not yet. Maybe it never will. But your messages are in a folder I read when it's really bad, and sometimes they're the only thing that stops me from following her. So, yeah, that's all for now. Still here, still breathing, still hers. Thanks for still listening. No, I thought it was. I really did. But it's 4:17 a.m. on what would have been our 10th wedding anniversary, and I'm drunk on the 4 pounds 99 Tesco red wine, sitting on the kitchen floor with Toast's head in my lap, and I just found the last thing. There was a shoebox at the back of her wardrobe I'd never seen. I only found it tonight because I was looking for the fairy light remote, the one she bought the Christmas before last that plays Sea Sounds. I pulled down every blanket and jumper she owned, and there it was, buried under the oversized hoodie she wore the day we met. Inside were hundreds of Polaroids, not the neat, curated ones we had in frames. These were the messy ones, the ones we never showed anyone. There's one of me asleep on the sofa with Toast as a puppy on my face, drool everywhere, and she's written on the white bit, "My two favorite idiots, 2018. One of her in the hospital bed after the brain surgery, bald and swollen, and giving the camera the finger, captioned still hotter than you. One of us in the IVF clinic toilet, both of us crying into each other's necks the day the third transfer failed. One of me teaching her to drive in an empty Asda car park at midnight, her screaming as she kangarooed the car, me laughing so hard I'm doubled over the dashboard. One of Toast stealing an entire rotisserie chicken off the counter, feathers of shame in his whiskers. And the last one, God. It's from maybe 3 weeks before she died. I'm asleep in the camp bed, mouth open, looking about 90. She must have taken it with her phone and printed it somehow without me knowing. On the back, in her shaky end-of-life handwriting, "This is the face I want to wake up to forever. Thank you for letting me borrow your life for a while. I'm keeping the hoodie. See you in the rock pools." I howled. I mean, actually howled until Toast started howling too, and the neighbor banged on the wall. I sat here on the lino with Polaroids spread around me like fallen leaves, and I understood something awful. She left me a map of every moment she loved most, and I've been walking around blind. I thought I was keeping her alive by refusing to move on, but she spent her last bit of strength, making sure I'd never be able to forget how brightly we burned, even when everything else went dark. I'm still not okay. I don't know if I ever will be completely, but tonight, fuck, I can feel her in this room right now. Not like a ghost, like sunlight through salt water, like she's sitting behind me with her chin on my shoulder, saying, "Stop crying on the dog, you sentimental wanker." I don't know what happens next. I know I'm going to get up tomorrow and take Toast to the beach she loved in Pembrokeshire. I'm going to let him run until he can't anymore. I'm going to stand in the sea up to my knees in December like an absolute lunatic and tell her about every single one of these photos, out loud, at full volume. And maybe, just maybe, I'll stop saying sorry. I think that's what she was trying to tell me all along. I was never alone. She just went on ahead to get the kettle on. Happy anniversary, my love. I'm still yours. I'll love you in every rock pool, every shitty Tesco wine, every wonky table, and every kitchen I ever sit crying in. Wait for me. I'm coming. Just not yet. I've got some living to finish first. This time I mean it.